Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Krista Wiley. I am a Platinum Consultant. Super excited to have you guys on here today. We are going to go over what it means to be a travel agent. So it's going to be a kind of a mixture. It's going to be a lot of involvement from you guys. It was kind of brought to my attention that this class needed to happen because there seems to be a little bit of disconnect in a couple of things. We want to make sure that you guys know exactly what we're doing, whatever. So what we're going to go over is kind of your roles and responsibilities, right? You guys, I'm going to share my screen. There is a document. I'm not sure if all of you guys have read this document, if you guys have ever even seen this document is actually in your guys' back office. It's in the back office under the quick start documents. Has anybody read this? Put in the chat box. Have you guys read this yet? No. Yes. No, yes, 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 yes. Okay, so it looks like a couple of you guys have. I know depending on where you're at, or depending on what team you are, some people have you read it, some people don't. Don't worry. Somebody said that it's hard for them to read. Don't worry, I'm going to read it. Oh, Brandy, no. This is no pop quiz. You guys, this isn't your typical training, right? But I want to go over this, and it's kind of going to segue into some other things. Okay, so what are the responsibilities of a travel agent? I think that's important. That's a good place to start. What are your responsibilities, right? You guys, this document says travel agents have many responsibilities. A travel agent's definition is someone who sells and arranges transportation, accommodations, tours, and or trips for travelers. They are fiduciaries or representatives of their customers. They are responsible for general duties in arranging travel plans. A travel agent should make and confirm reservations, including itinerary changes and delivery of tickets. We are to disclose the identity of tour operator and or the supplier responsible for the services. We are to vouch for the reliability of the supplier and or provide a warranty for services, aka travel protection. We are to investigate the ability of travel services such as canceled flights and or overbooked hotels. We are to convey needed information and provide needed travel documentation. We are to provide information on health and safety hazards. We are to advise on the availability of travel insurance, and we are to inform customers of any restrictions on transportation tickets. I'm going to go all the way through this document and then we're going to discuss it, okay? What are the legal duties and obligations of a travel agent? According to the state courts, travel agents have a higher standard of care because they have a special relationship with their customers. This includes special duties and obligations owed to their customers. Travel agents' duties and obligations include a duty to warn the customer, a duty to investigate and disclose, a duty to inform, a duty to make reservations, and a duty to confirm reservations. The duty to warn the customer includes a duty to reveal any negative information they have regarding the destination of the traveler. An example of this is if the traveler is going to a high crime area. The duty to investigate and disclose includes a duty to investigate travel plans and be knowledgeable about the area to which the traveler is going. This includes knowing if there are certain conditions that would affect the customer's travel plans, such as a community event that may cause travel interference or delays. The travel agent's duty is to inform the means the agent has, The travel agent's duty to inform means the agent has a duty to inform their clients about important travel information. They must inform clients about things such as limitations on ticket changes, documents needed to travel, whether certain countries have requirements, and the ability of travel insurance. The travel agent has a duty to make reservations at the request of the customer. The travel agent also has a duty to confirm those reservations and make sure they are ready for the customer. You guys, let's discuss this, right? Jacob, there is so much, Brandy, I'm on day 2 and my hands hurt from notes and my printer ran out of ink. twice. Hi, yes, there is a lot to print and write down. It can be overwhelming. Okay, you guys, so you guys, by reading this document, right? Reading this document, it gives us a very clear and concise legality to being a travel agent, right? You guys, we have a duty to serve, right? As a travel agent, we have a duty to do certain things, right? So, I have, and the reason why, you guys, I wanted to bring this up, the reason I wanted to read this document in full is because lately we have seen some things that are, you guys, I'll be downright forthcoming, unacceptable. We have had some agents say, and I can't even tell you who they were, just by comments and chats and whatnot, agents who have said, well, it's not my responsibility to tell them that their flight changed. It's not my responsibility to tell them that it's hurricane season. It's not my responsibility to XYZ, right? You guys, as you can read this, and obviously it's not some sworn, like, right hand, whatever, sworn officer or something like that, but understand that these are the duties that are expected of you as a travel agent. This is a document that Archer himself did put out. Does anybody have any questions about this? Does anybody have any questions about what this says? And you guys are feel free to unmute yourself, you guys.
Oh, it's pretty self-explanatory.
It is. I mean, I think so too. But I think that it's important because there was something recently that I did see, and somebody said, like, I don't remember what aspect of the trip, but basically that it wasn't their responsibility. And it was something that was very much their responsibility. It was like making sure that they had a passport leaving outside of the country, right? Like that is our duty, to make sure that they know that they are going to need a visa to go to that country. It is our responsibility to know that they need a passport. It is our responsibility to know vaccination statuses, COVID requirements, and all of those things, right? So I wanted to read this. I wanted to start this class because it kind of segues into my next conversation, okay? I recently was somewhere and somebody was talking about all of these quotes and whatnot that they had received, yet they weren't closing any of the bookings, right? So it made me start kind of thinking, what are we doing? What is the process that we are taking when a client reaches out to you? So my question is, and I want, and this is where everybody's input comes into play, is what do you guys do when you get a quote in your email? What do you guys do when you get a quote in your email? What is your very next process? No, Jonathan, that's totally fine. You have absolutely everything to learn. And Jonathan, because I'm coming off this way, everybody will tell you that I am super sweet, I'm super nice, but I am very, like, direct and to the point a lot. So please don't get scared off by that. You guys, what does that mean? There are 19 of you in here, right? What do you do when you receive a quote in the mail or in your email? What's your very next step?
Personally, if you can hear me, my next step that I do is I set up a time where I call them and we speak, so I can qualify them to make sure they are truly going to want to go forward with this.
Mm-hmm. You were in a class that I recently talked about that in.
Yeah, well, I've been with you guys now a little over a month, so shall I say, pick not only your brain but Destiny's brain and who knows how many others.
Yes, for sure. So you guys, so Natalie said qualify them. Addie said call. Tanya said call. What's everybody else do? You guys, there's no right or wrong answers. I want you guys, the point of this is to see what you guys are doing, and then let's see what we can do to make things better. So you guys, what do you guys do when you first get a quote in your email? Okay, you guys, So let's say somebody ends up on your website. They fill out a quote request form. You get that quote request form in your email. What is your very next step? Right? You guys, the very next step is to pull up that qualifying form and to call your clients. If you aren't calling them, right, you need to start calling them. No problem. 2023 counts, right? Brandy says, in insurance, I call and get all of the information I possibly can so I can work on a quote and not constantly call them back for more information. Perfect. Okay, so you guys, here is my thing. Do not text them and say, hey, when would be a good time to have a conversation? Don't text them, don't email them, don't direct message them, none of those things. You guys, the second, obviously not the second, but when you guys get a quote request in your email, right? Pick up the phone, right? This is the point. This is the reason why you're picking up the phone. You're picking up the phone because I am finding, and maybe not the 19 of you that are in here, but we are finding that what agents are doing is they're getting these quote requests in the mail or in their email, right? And they get to work, right? They get to work, they figure out a quote, they email back the quote. And then after they email back the quote, they are like, well, I didn't hear anything. Or they'll get an email back that says, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. I'm actually looking for something like this, right? So then they go back to work and then they go, they get back to work, then they send another quote, then they get back to work, they send a quote, get back to work, then they don't hear anything, right? It's this rat race, right? So you guys, and it's gonna be uncomfortable, especially when you're first getting started. It's uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable to pick up the phone and talk to people, right? I first person, you guys, I'm a super social person. I have no problem talking to people. But even for me, sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking. But you guys, I will tell you that I have not wasted my time because of this. If they aren't going to A, pick up the phone, or B, call me back after I call them to discuss their vacation, I am not going to work on their quote, right? You guys, I got a quote recently in my email. It was for a couple. They wanted to take a romantic getaway to Santa Barbara 2 weeks from now. Okay, picked up the phone.
Christy?
Huh? This is Krista.
Yeah, yeah, that's just me. I hope you don't mind me playing a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Well, let me finish my thought, okay?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. So anyway, so this couple calls me and they said, hey, so I called them, hey, this is Krista. I saw that you're on this you want this romantic getaway. You want to go to Santa Barbara. You want to XYZ, right? I wanted to get to, basically I'm calling them to get to know my client, right? I'm getting to know them, having the conversation, making sure that I have all of the information correctly, right? I called them, they didn't answer. I left a voicemail. You guys, I didn't do anything with the quote. I'm not going to spend my time working on a quote when they can't even call me back, right? Now, you guys, where this comes from, and this is the point that I'm making, is that not everybody, when they become a travel agent, do they turn on their professional hat, right? You guys, never, ever, never, 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 ever, never tell them I just became a travel agent. Don't ever tell them this is the first booking I've ever done for anyone. You guys, this is not a game of let me be the first, right? So like, I don't know if you have to like write that on a sticky, put it on your computer. Don't ever tell somebody, oh yeah, I just became a travel agent. This is my very first booking, right? No, you want to show a level of a level of professionalism. You don't want to, right? And I'm not saying that you're going to lie to them. I'm also not telling you to tell them this is the 20th, right? But people can tell your level of professionalism by the way that you speak, about your posture, about your language, about your etiquette, right? If you call somebody up on the phone and be like, hey girl, hey, what up, yo? What up? Hey, so I got a quote here from you that says that yeah, you want to go hang out in the Bahamas, yeah, for like a vacation. Yeah, let's, that doesn't exactly, and I know you guys are probably laughing, but that does not instill a level. If you called somebody, yes, Amelia, talking like that, you're going to lose them, right? You guys have to imagine if you were to call up a business, a professional business. Thank you for calling Travel by Tilly. How can I help you? Thank you for calling by Travel by Tilly. How can I assist you? Hey, Natalie, so nice of you to call. I would love to help you. Let's get some information, right? You guys, another downfall that I see a lot of people do is that somebody will call them on their phone. Hey, I would love to book travel. And they immediately send them to their website to qualify them. You guys, if a client calls you on the phone, the last thing you want to do is send them to your website to get them qualified. You guys, if you guys have been on any of my trainings, I actually have a notebook. Let me stop sharing my screen. I have a notebook, right? You guys, I literally scribble. I qualify them on the phone. If I know a lot of you guys probably didn't know Nikki Lee, right? A lot of you guys have probably attended a lot of her trainings. Nikki was one of those people, somebody would call her on the phone talking about a vacation. She would start quoting them right then and there and close them like that. Right? Obviously, it takes time to get there. But my point is that it is a level of professionalism, right? They're going to know that you're sitting in your pajamas and you haven't taken a shower for 3 days. That's not what I'm talking about, right? But you need to, if you think about what you would want a business to be like that you were calling, and you need to mirror that, right? Also be humble. Humble is huge, right? It will take you a long way. You know what? I'm not 100% sure on that answer, but I'm actually going to do some research. Let me get back to you and let you know what I find out, right? Do the research, call them back. Don't wait 3 days, do the research, call them back. In those 3 days, you've lost them. They're gone, right? So you guys, so making that initial contact as soon as you possibly can is pertinent, right? The next thing is that you guys have to make sure that you also want to make sure that you are speaking in a professional manner. You want to make sure that you are concise, asking the right questions. Don't ask open-ended questions either. I know a lot of people will ask open-ended questions and they're like, why can't I get the answers, right? And obviously this is going to be a developed dialogue, right? This is a developed dialogue that you are going to get to. So what I want us to do here together is I want us to develop, let's think tank, right? How we want to talk to the client, right? What are we going to do in that initial conversation? You know, maybe build a timeline, right? Lily, what do you say if they ask how long you have been a travel agent? I generalize it by saying this year. However, it's only March, so they still know that it is not a long time. Lily, I've never been asked. I've never once been asked how long have I been a travel agent. Nope. I do, however, build a bond with my clients, and they all know that I work from home, and they end up knowing my kids' names. They know all kinds of stuff because it's building that bond, and that's what's going to get your clients to come back to you time and time again. So you guys, let's think tank this. What are some things that you can do to get that level of professionalism? And you guys can either unmute yourself or you guys can type it in the chat.
I know one thing I've been doing, because unlike when I first joined, where I did not, you know, I didn't have a job, I didn't have any income at the time coming in. I now do have a job, so now I had to put this kind of to the back burner, make it a part-time thing. But what I have found that works for me, being that I am now using it as a side gig and having all the base that I now do have, is unlike being able to take a call if they immediately call me in, you know, that time is setting up my my voice box, as soon as that thing picks up, that I make sure my voice sounds very professional in that. So there's the professionalism coming through. And then they go ahead and leave the information that I request that they leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, when I finally go ahead and do reach out to them, They already heard my voice. They already heard the professionalism. And so far, the people I have contact have been very receptive, and I'm very thankful for that. And even though I will say I'm kind of being a bit leery with 2 or 3 people that I'm working with right now,
Mhm.
but it's thankfully now it's moved to a more electronic communication. I don't have to call them all the time anymore.
Hmm.
I can go ahead and go into Facebook chat and talk with them because I've already had the one-on-one.
Mhm.
So that's a good thing to do that way, I think. So if you can, and this is what I'll recommend even to all the newbies that are out there, and it's taken me a month to learn this and get here, but yeah, set up that voice outbox message of yours. Make
Mhm.
sure you sound as professional as you want to come off. And that's a very good impression if you can't get to your phone and pick up.
That's a good question. How many of you guys here have changed your guys' voicemails? How many of you guys here have changed your voicemails to say that you're a travel agent? I have 2 reasons for this. How many of you guys have done that? I have not. I have. I have not. I need to. I haven't. I have not, but it's on my list of things to do. I have not. Okay, so you guys, I know I did get another number. Yes, change my voicemail already. Perfect. So you guys, here it is, twofold. Okay, so one, for your clients, right? For your clients who are calling you, it announces that you're a travel agent, right? But you guys, you know what else it does? For all those people calling you and leaving voicemails that didn't know you were a travel agent, they know now. It is now a second form of advertisement, right? Think about it, right? How many people call, you don't answer the phone, yet they listen to your voicemail? They may not leave you a voicemail, because who leaves voicemails nowadays sometimes, but it is a form of advertisement, right? Hey, your pest control people, I don't know, they called to leave you a message about your bill, right? But they know you're a travel agent, right? It's free advertising, right? Free advertising. We're all about the free stuff. So change those voicemails. You guys, the second thing is, and you guys, I am guilty of this and I have no problem admitting my guilt. Empty your mailboxes or set up your mailboxes. I have several agents that I've tried calling and their voicemails aren't even set up. How does that speak to a client, right? They're like, well, shoot, they don't even have a mailbox I can set up, right? So that is, one thing. Make sure your voicemail set up. 2, make sure that your mailbox is empty. Not empty, but like there's room to do it. You guys, the other thing is, and you guys, I will speak it till the cows come home. You guys learn from my mistakes. I'm horrible at checking my voicemails. Horrible. I'll check them like 4 or 5 days later. You guys, I have missed out on clients for doing that. Because I'll admit, I don't answer phone numbers I don't recognize. I think we all do that, right? Me too. That's why I like text messages. Absolutely, right? And in that, going back to calling your client, right? Hey, when you're talking to them, leaving the message, feel free to either give me a call or text me when you're available, right? Set up that level of like, hey, this is my cell phone. You can also text message. My phone is super annoying about alerting me. Yeah. Some people have OCD and they can't stand like a number thing on it. It doesn't bother me. So if it bothered me, I would probably check it more often, right? So it's setting those things up. Okay. Next thing, you guys, how many of you guys here have built logos for your company? How many of you guys here have set up logos for your business? I guess it would be easier to say, has anybody not? Has anybody not made a logo? First thing I did. Okay. Second, another question, because we're just talking about what it means to be a travel agent, setting up that level of professionalism. How many of you guys have created a professional business signature on your email? How many of you guys have set up a professional signature on your email? Okay.
It took me some time, but I finally did. And now that I've also gotten my master's of whatever it is with Royal Caribbean, I gladly post that there too.
Yeah. So I'm new. I'm doing it signature, guys. If you guys are new, it's totally fine. Totally fine. We're writing lists, right? I just told you guys, make sure you have paper out. I'm a list maker. If you guys saw my desk, I have papers upon papers of lists, right? I'm a list maker, right? These are all little things that elevate your business, right? Setting you apart from somebody who is not so professional, right? Right? So you guys, there are videos out there on how to, if you guys have a Gmail, I don't know if it works on, it might work for other ones. Wise Stamp, I believe is what it's called. It will actually help you create a professional signature, but make sure you have that on there, right? Make sure that you have a nice professional picture of you. Make sure that it has, you know, your email, it has your phone number, it has your business name, right? All of those things. Yes, Wise Stamp is awesome. Yes. So you guys do that, right? So I've already given you guys a few homework things, right? Make sure your voicemail is set up. You guys, nothing irritates Jose. If you guys have never talked to Jose, nothing irritates Jose more than when he tries to call you guys and he can't get a hold of you. He absolutely hates it. He's like, because what ends up happening is he ends up calling the platinum leaders and is like, hey, your girl Stacy doesn't have her voicemail set up, and if I have to call her one more time and not be able to leave a message, I'm gonna scream. Right? Not that Stacy would do that, but I'm just saying that, like, right?
Rude.
Anyway, so they have to, right? I knew I could pick on you, so I did. So they, you know, it's setting yourself up. You guys, when you set out quotes, right? Let's talk about quotes and sending out quotes. Some people, I hear this statement a lot too, is what do I have to do? What do I have to do? You guys don't have to do anything, right? There is nothing. You guys, I just read to you the duties and responsibilities of a travel agent. Did anywhere in that document tell you how you had to provide a quote?
Not at all. And I know, again, in my time here, I've learned that only give enough information to entice them to want more.
So I'm going to talk on that in just a second, Tanya. Okay. So does it say, it doesn't say anywhere on there about how you have to send the quote, right? Nope. Sure doesn't. Sure does not. Let me show you something though. Let me zoom in even more so you guys can read it. You must disclose the identity of our tour operator and or the supplier responsible for the service. Okay. You guys, everybody advertises their quotes differently, right? Obviously, when I do a mock booking, I'm not going to lay it all out there for them, right? I'm not going to lay out I'm not going to give them like the Reader's Digest version of how to book themselves a Royal Caribbean cruise. No, I'm going to say, hey, let's go to the Caribbean on a 7-night cruise for $200 per person, right? That gives them enough to book with me or to inquire with me. It is then my job to build a relationship, to sell myself, right? Sell myself as to why they'd be stupid to book anywhere else, right? You guys, I think that there is a mindset that people still fight to this day, whether you've been in the business for 5 days or 5 years. Every once in a while, you will talk to people and I will ask them, why should someone book with you versus booking with themselves? Everybody give me a reason in the chat box. What is one reason someone should book with you versus booking it by themselves? Save them money. All right, let's come up with some others other than see how many we can get. You will do the research for them. I'm the professional. Okay. It's a weight off their shoulders. I have their best interests at heart. Okay. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. You guys all know how to raise your hand on the thing. Raise your hand if any of you guys have been to one of my presentations in the last month or two. Couple of people, couple, 5, 6. All right, Brandy, I will give them in-depth information about where, what they are doing on a vacation, COVID and other regulations, etc., and take the pain of booking and planning. Okay. All right, you guys can lower your hands. Okay, so about 9 of you. Okay, you guys, in my presentation that I do, my presentation for, prospects or whatever, I give a good, valid reason why people, whether they decide to become a travel agent or not decide to become a travel agent, there is something that I say in my presentation when I'm talking about suppliers, right? We are in the position to educate our clients, right? So one of the things that I always tell people, did you know if you book it on your own, you're paying for the commissions of using a travel agent anyways?
Oh, Kristen, I hate to interrupt you, but take this as a kudos to you. Your video that is put out there for those who want to come on board, become new agents. I sent that to a prospect who had no means to be able to attend any of the lives. And she got back to me, and the first thing out of her mouth, she goes, "That girl knows what she's doing."
That's super sweet. Thank you.
Yep.
So you guys, so the thing is that there in itself, right? That is one of them. I didn't even know. You guys, did any of you guys know that before becoming travel agents? That the commission was built into the package price? Brand, hell no. Valerie, no. No, I didn't even know, right? As much as I know now, that is something I didn't know, right? Right? Hotels booking customer service because no, right? So I didn't believe it, right? You guys, honest to God, right? When I am talking to, because I'll have clients that'll call me up, and there's like, or I've even had friends. I've had friends because I'll ask the question. I ask the question on my Facebook all the time. What is your reasoning for wanting to book it yourself versus using a travel agent? Right? And I can, it's like batting flies, right? Like I can bat off any excuse on the planet. But that is when you're talking to a client, why should I use a travel agent? Right? Or when you're talking to them about why to use your services, right? Did you know that you're paying for my services whether you use me or not? Right? Put that in your pocket, right? Well, they're not legit. Too legit to quit. Hey. Did I just age myself? Anyways, I'm not legit. Why am I not legit? Let's go down that road. You guys, I want to talk about all of those, right? Let's combat, let's give answers. Why are you not legit, Natalie? If you can, unmute yourself. Why do they think you're not legit?
Well, me and her are like not close relatives, but she just doesn't want to support, I guess, my business.
Well, that's different. Some people just suck. Let's just be honest. Some people, I mean, right? The reason I stopped using TAs is because every travel agent I've used didn't do anything other than book stuff. I've ended up looking into details more than they had, right? I mean, there are crummy travel agents, right, Brandy? There are bad travel agents. I'm not gonna lie. There's also bad paramedics. There's bad doctors. There's bad restaurants. There's bad cops. There's bad firefighters. There's bad judges. There's bad lawyers. There's bad, right? The list goes on and on. There's bad babysitters, bad parents, bad adults. There's bad, just, right? Like, there is a bad everything, right? So now, unfortunately, just like you guys, I'm going to put it out there. There are bad host agencies, right? There are bad host agencies. Thank the Lord, thank goodness, thank God. The only host agency I've ever worked for is Archer and Evolution Travel. Because the stories I hear about other companies, and I'm not here to badmouth those other companies because that's not what we're about. But there are even bad host agencies, right? I have a friend who I didn't even know, to be honest. I have a friend, she just messaged me today, told me she's been a travel agent for 8 months. Had no idea. I had no idea she was a travel agent. She works for another host agency. She has done nothing in 8 months. Nothing in 8 months. Because she was like reaching out to me to ask her how to get started as a travel agent, right? So you guys, there is a bad everything. Where did you learn that about them still having to pay the commission? I didn't know that either. Because how do we get paid commission? Our commission is built into the price, right? You guys can actually call you guys call up a hotel and ask them for the non-commissionable hotel rate. There is a non-commissionable hotel rate, but people don't know that. I mean, why would we want to do that? We're not going to give the non-commissionable hotel rate. We want there to be commission, right? You guys, and I'm not going to tell my client that. And I don't even know if they would do that for them. I think they would do it for a travel agent, but I don't think they would do it for regular Joe Schmo because the commission is built in, right? Because you guys, let's think about this. Expedia, right? Expedia, they still have to pay Southwest to fly the plane. They still have to pay Ryu for people to stay there, right? If the trip costs $3,000 and they give all $3,000 to Southwest and Ryu, how's Expedia making their money? Same way we're making our money. The commission is built into the rate, whether you're using an OTA or you're using a travel agent. They have to get paid, right? So that's number one. You guys, yes, we can save them money. You guys, a lot of people don't know that on cruises, you can call every single month and you can see about getting a price reduction on a cruise. Right? I've saved thousands of dollars. I'm talking before I was a travel agent. I would save thousands of dollars on my cruises because I would literally see a new deal that came out with Royal Caribbean and I'd call up and see if it was a better deal than the one I had right now. Right? I do the same thing for my clients. Did you know that I can do best price match guarantee? Did you know that me as your travel agent, I can call and see if the price of your hotel stay has actually gone down? Now, if you're going to advertise you do that, then you need to make sure that you do that, right? You can't say, oh, I can do this and then never do it, right? You guys, during the pandemic, I had the pleasure of being a travel agent prior to the pandemic. And I don't know if there's maybe Amelia. I don't know if there was too many. Stacy was probably not with us, but Stacy was a travel agent, I'm sure, before the pandemic. Kelly was not. Okay. So you guys, one of the greatest things about the pandemic was like, I got to be a travel agent prior to the pandemic. So I've seen it all the way through, right? And the pandemic has given validation to being a travel agent. It has given validation to being a travel agent. Because you guys, and I was right there before I became a travel agent, I had to call Royal Caribbean about something. And it used to take, I don't know, 30 minutes on hold, right? You guys, when the pandemic hit, I had my own cruise, right? Then I didn't know then that I could call the travel agent line for my cruise. So I called the regular consumer line. 8 hours I was on hold. 8 hours. You guys, hold times are still crazy. They're not 8 hours by any means. They're not that long, right? But 8 hours I was on hold. You guys,
I'm sorry, and if you don't mind me interjecting here and just to put a a good footnote to what you're saying there. One of the 2 Royal Caribbean Facebook groups I am with, one of the conversations that was recently started is somebody had a rant about how this and that was happening, and she was on that line, and how long she was on hold for, and she posted, how in the world am I supposed to get? Everybody posted, you should have went through a travel agent. You should have went through let the travel agent handle all that. You should have. So talk about getting us a big lift up. It's like, see, even everybody else knows the advantages to going through us, because then we have means to go in a back door that they don't and go ahead and fix things.
Yeah. So you guys, when these are all things that you guys need to put in your pocket, right? These are all things that give you a level of professionalism, right? These are things that, you need to think about, right? What does it mean to be a travel agent, right? What does that mean, right? That doesn't mean that you know everything all of the time, but it does mean that you're going to research it so that your clients know without a shadow of a doubt that they're going to A, a safe place, B, they have all of their stuff, C, they know all of this. It also means that when your client calls you because their flight got canceled, you are smart enough to be like, can you please go to the ticketing counter and talk to them? You are in the best place possible to see what's going on with that canceled flight, right? So Stacy and Angela, you guys both have your hands up. I didn't know if you guys still had them up or if you guys had questions. Okay, you guys, so that's kind of my thing, right? That's kind of my diatribe on professionalism, right? And you guys, it's definitely that mindset of going from I book my own travel to I'm booking someone, they are using your services, right? They are looking to you as the professional. So be the professional, right? All right, you guys, that is kind of my thing on professionalism. Did you guys have any comments or questions in regards to what it means to be a travel agent?
So I actually have a question.
Sure.
I'm fairly new, so just a disclaimer in advance.
Oh, you're fine.
I read something while going through the paperwork yesterday, and I know there was like a 30-day basis for the refund or whatever it was, but maybe I was scaring myself. I also read something that said that we had to make a sale in the first 30 days. I mean, maybe I misread something. It was late and I was getting my certificate done. But I just wanted to confirm that. I mean, do we have a deadline for booking? Or? Okay.
There's no deadline. I'm trying to think because I've read bits and pieces of the contract. Well, I mean, I've read the whole contract, but I've focused on different pieces over the last couple of years. There's no booking deadline. You can book if you. We literally have people that get in book no travel. Right?
Oh,
Some people just absolutely love the culture. Some people just want a tax write-off. Some people want the discounts of their own travel. Hold on one second. Yes, son. Sorry, guys. So no, there's no time limit. There's no like, oh, you in 30 X amount of days. No, you can literally never book travel if you don't want to. And then we don't want to talk about you leaving us because you're not going anywhere, Jacob. You're going to be successful, amazing, and you're going to be wonderful, and you're going to stay with this family forever. But yes, if you decided someday that you didn't want to be a travel agent, then obviously that is definitely of your own fruition to leave us.
Awesome. And then I was reading over something else.
Uh-huh.
It stated that policy said something about us not being able to book our own trips. What's the extent of that?